Hey, Patriots fans! We're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved New England Patriots. Before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. This way, you'll stay updated and never miss any breaking news or exclusive content. The buzz coming out of Foxborough right now feels more like the plot of a sports drama than the steady rhythm of an NFL season, because Patriots head coach Mike VRABEL has dropped a line that shook not only the locker room, but the entire fan base. He openly hinted that there might be a player contaminating the roster, poisoning the atmosphere inside the team with a negative influence that is eroding the unity he's been trying to rebuild. In a franchise known for its obsession with structure, control, and the so-called Patriot way, a statement like that doesn't just slip out casually during a press conference or a locker room chat. VRABEL has the reputation of being a no-nonsense guy, a leader who speaks straight. So, when he chose the word contaminating, it was no accident, and people immediately picked up on the severity. This isn't about someone missing blocks or blowing assignments on the field. This is about culture, attitude, and the invisible things that can split a team in two. The media grabbed hold instantly. Fans filled radio shows with speculation, and inside sources began whispering about who might be the figure at the center of the storm. And that's where the fire really began to spread, because when you use a word like contaminating, it creates imagery of infection, of something toxic seeping into the foundation of the Patriots house. And suddenly, every minor dispute, every unusual substitution, every sideline argument takes on a new meaning. Was that wide receiver who stormed off the practice field last week connected to this? Could it be the veteran defensive back who clashed with coaches over scheme adjustments? Maybe it's a young draft pick struggling with discipline off the field, frustrated and dragging others into his orbit of discontent. The rumor mill doesn't stop turning, and in New England, where expectations run higher than anywhere, even a whisper becomes a headline. VRABEL knew the cameras were rolling when he said it, which means either he wanted to send a message directly to the guilty party, or he wanted to shake the entire team awake before the season spirals out of control. The Patriots dynasty may be behind them, but the shadow of greatness still weighs heavy, and any fracture becomes magnified tenfold. What makes this rumor even more intriguing is the way players themselves have reacted, because the Patriots locker room is traditionally airtight, a fortress against leaks, and now cracks are visible. Some players brushed it off with laughs when asked, others tightened their lips and offered no comment, and a few gave a defensive, almost irritated tone that reporters love to highlight as proof of tension. When VRABEL's comment spread, several former Patriots, now analysts on TV, couldn't resist chiming in, suggesting that this type of language usually comes when a coach feels cornered or desperate to regain control. But VRABEL isn't a coach known for desperation. He's a competitor who spent years playing in this league and knows how quickly a bad influence can rot an entire locker room from the inside out. So if he went public, maybe the issue has already reached a boiling point. Maybe it's not just one player, but a ripple effect spreading among position groups. That's why fans are now replaying every sideline camera shot, every mic'd up moment, trying to decode body language like detectives searching for the villain in a mystery film. The irony is that VRABEL himself was once a player in this very locker room during the height of the Patriots dynasty, when unity and discipline were the pillars of their success. And now, as head coach, he finds himself fighting to prevent that same house from crumbling. There's almost a poetic sense of betrayal in his words, like a teacher discovering that a trusted student has been spreading rumors behind their back, or a general realizing that one soldier in the unit is undermining the mission. That's the energy around Foxborough right now. No one outside knows the exact name, and that makes the speculation both thrilling and dangerous, because every theory becomes believable when wrapped in enough passion. And the longer this goes unresolved, the heavier the suspicion weighs, making teammates look at each other differently, second-guessing who's truly committed and who's secretly dragging feet. VRABEL's choice to go public was bold, but it may also be risky, because if the team doesn't respond, if the locker room fractures further, he'll be seen as the coach who lost grip by airing dirty laundry in front of the nation instead of sealing it shut. But maybe that was his goal all along, because some coaches operate with shock value. using words like weapons to cut through complacency and force a response. Perhaps VRABEL wanted to put everyone on edge, to remind every man on the roster that their actions ripple beyond themselves, that one weak link can sink a season. Maybe he wasn't even pointing at one individual, but at a general culture he felt creeping in: selfishness, ego, a lack of accountability. After all, the Patriots are in a transitional phase, rebuilding identity after years of being the standard, and transitions invite instability. The term contamination doesn't have to be literal. It can symbolize a mindset that spreads if unchecked. Still, the word is powerful, and it doesn't fade easily from the headlines once uttered. That's why fans are buzzing, the media is circling, and players are glancing sideways in meetings, wondering who's being labeled. The whole situation is like a puzzle missing its centerpiece, and until someone steps forward, or until VRABEL clarifies, the tension only grows, feeding the rumor into something larger than itself. This rumor may just be the beginning of something more dramatic, because in the NFL, perception often becomes reality, and once doubt creeps into a locker room, it's hard to shove it back into the shadows. Analysts are already calling it a test of VRABEL's leadership, saying he has to prove whether he can truly steer the ship in choppy waters, or whether this bold accusation becomes the storm that sinks it. The Patriots' schedule doesn't wait for drama to cool, and as the games pile up, every win or loss will be viewed through the lens of this alleged contaminator. If they win, the narrative will be that VRABEL's tough love worked, that he rooted out toxicity and restored order. If they lose, the whispers will become screams, questioning if the coach has lost control of his players, or worse, if the players no longer believe in him. Right now, all of Foxborough feels like it's balancing on a knife's edge, and fans everywhere are glued to the developments, waiting to see if this rumor becomes the turning point in a season already marked by turbulence and mystery. The whispers only grew louder after VRABEL's comments, because now every storyline around the Patriots has been dragged into the spotlight and reinterpreted as part of this contamination theory. A running back sitting out of practice with what was initially reported as tightness is now being dissected as possible fallout from locker room tension. A receiver posting vague social media messages about loyalty and respect is suddenly framed as a cryptic clue in the ongoing drama. The entire situation has turned into a live soap opera, with fans playing detective and analysts spinning theories as if this were a crime investigation. Some point to the younger players, saying rookies often clash with veteran culture, while others believe it's an experienced voice who feels the Patriots aren't headed in the right direction. Either way, the conversation has expanded beyond one player contaminating the roster into a broader question of whether the entire organization is in danger of slipping into dysfunction. The Patriots have always lived under scrutiny, but this particular storyline cuts deeper because it's not about X's and O's, it's about trust, and trust is the one thing no team can survive without when the season pressure builds. Inside the locker room, the rumor has created a tension you could slice with a knife, because once a word like contamination escapes into the public, it doesn't vanish. It lingers in every corner, in every eye contact between teammates. Reporters who attended practice described an atmosphere that felt unusually stiff, with players interacting less, huddles breaking faster, and a sense that everyone was more cautious about what they said or did in front of outsiders. It's as if VRABEL's words turned up the temperature in the room, and now everyone feels the heat. Some speculate this is exactly what the coach wanted, a trial by fire to expose who can handle adversity and who can't. Others believe it's a gamble that could backfire, because suspicion can easily turn teammates against one another. The Patriots have always been a team that prided itself on unity, often repeating the mantra, "do your job." But when players begin questioning whether someone in the room is actively hurting the mission, that mantra weakens. The mood in Foxborough right now isn't just about preparing for the next opponent. It's about survival, identity, and whether this roster can keep from imploding under the weight of suspicion. Former players and analysts have also joined the conversation, adding fuel to the speculation by drawing from their own experiences inside NFL locker rooms. Some recalled times when a single player's attitude poisoned an entire season, whether through selfishness poor work ethic, or clashes with authority. Others argued that VRABEL may be overstating things to send a shockwave, but they admit that words from a head coach carry immense power. The more seasoned voices suggested that this kind of language usually means a coach has already tried to handle the issue privately and failed, meaning he's turning to the public stage as a final weapon. That interpretation is what alarms so many fans, because if VRABEL truly believes a player is contaminating the culture, then it suggests the problem has already spread wider than most realize. Suddenly, this is no longer just about a rumor. It's about whether the Patriots Foundation, already fragile in the post-dynasty era, is sturdy enough to withstand the stress. When the outside noise gets this loud, it can either bond a team together or fracture it completely, and the Patriots now stand at the most critical fork in their path all season. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Even rival teams are paying attention, because the NFL is as much about psychology as it is about physical performance. And the idea of the Patriots wrestling with internal conflict is a headline too juicy to ignore. Opponents are surely circling matchups on their calendars, knowing that a team distracted by distrust is a team vulnerable on the field. Commentators have joked that VRABEL may have given rivals a blueprint: push the Patriots' buttons, test their patience, and force cracks to widen. But behind the jokes lies a serious truth. Football teams thrive on confidence, rhythm, and unity, and when any of those falter, performance follows. What makes VRABEL's situation so fascinating is that he's no stranger to battles like these, both as a former player who witnessed the heights of Patriot dominance and as a coach who has built his own reputation as a motivator. Yet even for him, this feels like uncharted waters, because the very word contamination suggests something deeper than just poor execution. It suggests betrayal, resistance, or rot, and those are much harder to repair than a busted playbook. The NFL is watching closely, but no one is watching closer than Patriots Nation itself. The longer this story hangs in the air, the more dangerous it becomes for the Patriots, because the unknown is always more powerful than the known. If VRABEL had named a player outright, the situation might have been ugly but clear. Instead, by leaving it as an ominous hint, he's unleashed a storm of speculation where every mistake on the field, every frown on the sideline, every cryptic social media post becomes part of the detective work. Fans argue endlessly online, dividing themselves into camps of suspects, while local talk shows thrive on stirring the pot with theories and counter-theories. And while that might entertain the outside world, it can suffocate the people living inside it. Players who know they're innocent still carry the weight of suspicion simply because they missed a block or looked frustrated during practice. The silence from VRABEL since the initial comment has only made the situation more volatile, because people fill silence with imagination, and imagination in sports is often wilder than reality. The Patriots are fighting not only their opponents, but also the perception that something is fundamentally broken within, and until the truth comes out, the rumor continues to grow unchecked. As the Patriots head deeper into the season, this rumor becomes more than just a storyline. It becomes a test of whether the team can survive under shadows. If they rally, turn the noise into fuel, and put wins on the board, VRABEL's strategy will look like a stroke of genius, a master motivator using words to spark urgency. But if they stumble, if the locker room fractures further, the narrative will flip and VRABEL will be remembered as the coach who created chaos instead of calm. That's the thin line they're walking now, and it's what makes this saga so gripping for fans and so terrifying for the people inside the building. Every game feels like it carries double the weight. Not just a win or loss in the standings, but evidence for whether the contamination theory was real or exaggerated. Until then, Foxborough is buzzing like never before, caught between hope and suspicion, unity and division. In the end, whether there is truly one contaminating player or whether this was simply VRABEL's psychological play, the Patriots have to decide quickly. Either come together or collapse, because the NFL never waits for teams stuck in their own drama. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.